everybody, my bad here. Coming in today with a knife overview and sharpening. Today's knife overview and sharpening will be done on the Civivi Relic. The Civivi Relic is in Nitro V. It's got these nice burlap micarta handles. They're not polished, they're unpolished. The website says that they're green micarta. I disagree, but regardless if I disagree or not, that doesn't matter. After I sharpen this thing up, I'm going to clean it up with some alcohol. I left my knife lube at my parents' house while I was there last week working with Dad and messing around with some stuff. So when I get back to that part of Arkansas, I'll probably take it apart and clean it as well. But today, we're just going to talk about it and sharpen it. So I won't need these tools today. I will take them with me. First thing we need to do is take out the old Sharpie, put a couple marks on each side, and while we do this, let's talk about the things that I have done with the knife. So I got this knife from Tactical Everyday Dad. He has already done a testing on video. I do not do testings on video. I take it out into real world life scenarios, my real world knife life scenarios, and I use the knives so I can come back and tell you about the things that I've done with the knife and how I used it and the things that it has done. So I carried it for a couple of days before I went to the boat, you know, doing everyday knife things, opening packages, opening mail, stuff like that. So no real damage on the edge. When I got, and I don't know if Ted sharpened this thing up before he sent it to me or not, but I'm about to sharpen it up now. So when I got to the boat, I only worked, I'd say probably 12 or 13 days of actual work. Then I got sick and had to quarantine because I got the COVID. And then I quarantined before I came to the house. And then when I came to the house, I started working construction. But while those 13 or so days that I did work, I probably carried that 4 of the days. I carried the Kujit the most, and I'll be doing an overview of the Kujit in a couple more days from now. But I have this knife on me today. So let's talk about the things I did. I cut one leave-it line with this knife. The Kujit cut like 3 or 4 of them, but with this knife, I only cut one. I would say that that's pretty even on there. Let's go ahead and tighten it up. I'm sharpening this at 20 degrees. I like to sharpen all of my pocket knives at 20 degrees. Pocket knives and fixed blades are the only things that go on this. For axes and more value-friendly knives, I'll use the Work Sharp. So I put a little bit of Lansky homing oil on the blade. And I got both sides marked with the Sharpie, so I know for a fact if it's getting sharpened correctly. I'm starting off with the 600 grit, and then I'm going to go to a 1500 grit after. And then after that, I'm going to take the old Lansky strop and put some, which it's already got diamond paste on it. It's got 8000 grit diamond paste on it, and we'll strop her up. But as I digress, so cut one leave-it line. The rest of the time, all I was cutting was basically packages that would come to the boat or food items. Alright, so this, tell you right now, this does not have a 20-degree angle on it, so my bad's gonna have to bust out the big stones, the big boy stones. I was hoping that it had more of a bevel on it, but that's looking to be about 25-30 degrees right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and go bump it on up to the 140 grit. I'm gonna get a rough edge on it, and this is the reason why you want to mark your blades. And I know I'm using way too much honing oil. You don't have to tell me, I already know. But if you feel like telling me in the comments section, that's okay too. So right now, I'm just kind of roughing it up. Usually I'm going to use a smoother action like this. But right now I can see my bevel because of the Sharpie. So I'm going to go ahead and rough it up. Go back and forth on it like this. There's going to be some people that cringes on that. But that's alright. I'm putting the edge I want to on it. And I'll keep it straight. This 140 grit diamond stone is cutting through that steel extremely well. I'm hoping to cut through it where I can get a good little burr on this side, and then I'll flip it over and do it again. But anyways, I was telling you about the stuff that I did. You know, I cut one leave-it line. That leave-it line seemed to dull it pretty good. So it really does need a sharpening and a reprofiling of the edge. It can definitely take this 20-degree bevel that I'm going to put on it. And it cut some packages. It didn't cut really anything extreme until last week, because I had carried the Kujit so much on the boat. I wanted to carry this on the construction site. So it went to work with me every day. And if you keep up with my Instagram, you know that me, Salty, and Ted, we bounced back our EDCs every so day, and you could tell that I was carrying this every day, and I was using it every day, and I was opening packages on the construction site that had other tools in it. Getting close to it. There's places that needs it more than that, so I hit those places pretty hard. Get that line back down to there, and that looks pretty good there. Man, these stones just cut through the steel. And this is Nitro V steel. Nitro V's a pretty good steel. I don't exactly know the Rockwell of this, but I may look it up. I think it's around the 60 area. But I'll look it up and I'll put it in the description just so y'all know. But these diamond stones are just cutting through that. Alright, it's getting pretty good where I can start using my actual technique. But I was opening packages with it, mainly using the tip. I used it so much that it would not shave hair anymore. But when I get done with this, I bet you it shaves hair again. Alright, let's see if that bevel's good. It looks like it may have a bevel in spots. Not a bevel, a burr in spots. Nitro V is supposed to sharpen up extremely well. It surprises me the price of this knife with the action that it has and the materials that they're using, that it's not a more expensive knife. I believe that this is a $75 knife or somewhere around that area on your favorite retailing website, Blade HQ, DLT, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, White Mountain Knives, any of those places. that you can get. The Civivi at. Now this knife I'll probably keep. The last Nitro V knife that I had. By the way, I got the bevel going. I can feel it. So I'll go from this 150 to this 300 to the 600 to the 15. And I'll probably cut the main part of this video after I get done talking about it, and go to the very end where I'm stropping it, so I can show you how good of a bit bevel it got. But I got this knife to where it wouldn't even shave. It wouldn't cut paper that well. It needed a new edge, and this might be a factory edge still. Not knocking on Ted, I'd be honest with you, I would rather him, if he does send me a knife, don't even sharpen it, because I want to see what the factory edge does after he gets done with a knife, because I know the type of testing he does, and then see what it does when I take it into, you know, real life scenarios. My real life scenarios is going to be a little bit more serious than the everyday man, considering the things that I do with the knives, like cutting leave-it line. Leave-it line is like that thick, of that polypro type material. That's some serious stuff. Most people don't use a straight edge knife for that. They use a serrated knife for that. But I generally keep my knives razor sharp, so I don't have to have serrated knives. Now there is a place for serrated knives, and most generally that would be as a line knife on a boat, or a water survival, or a scenario where you're going to be cutting a lot of stuff and you can't really hit that edge as often as, you know, regular normal everyday people would hit. Where you're going to be cutting fibers and stuff repeatedly, because it will just bite. Ooh, about got myself there. Because it will just bite down on the material and cut straight through it. Man, really need to pay more attention to what I'm doing on this knife, don't I? Instead of looking up at the camera, making sure the camera is good and focused. Now this is the normal technique that I use, and that bevel's looking good. Let's see. Oh yeah, I got a nice burr on this back side. Hit this front side a little bit more, get a good burr going, but I cannot see the Sharpie line anymore. And that, yeah, that's a hair bit more and we'll get her. And that's the purpose of it. Really, it's just a, what the Army would call dummy proofing your work. I just dummy proof my work to make sure that I got that edge nice and clean. There's that bevel that I want. Let's go the other way with it. I'll take this stone off, put it face down on the old rag, grab the 300, pop her in there, tighten her up. So, I'm gonna go ahead and pause this video for now. Yeah, I work for all the oil companies, you know, that stuff's expensive right now. But I'm gonna pause the video for right now, and I'll come back to y'all when the stropping. And I'm back with it. I tell you what, I have got one heck of a burr going on here. Now, it actually didn't take very long after I had paused the video to go from the 300 grit to the 600 grit to the 1500 grit, probably about 5 minutes of actual sharpening. What I did was I used my regular technique of going through the blade one stroke at a time, back and forth. and I got a bevel pretty quick. I'd say I probably hit it about 8 to 10 times per side to flip that bevel around. So you don't need very much of this. Probably don't need any at all. But I like to put it on there just because. All you need is a little dab. And this is 8,000 grit diamond paste from Tech Diamond Tools. Little dot is all I'm putting on there. Kind of spread it around, spread that love around. Now I already wiped the blade off with the old KME rag. That bevel's on that side. Now, I got a guy, well, my dad's gonna see what he can do, build me a strop. I told him that I wanted a 2x4. I wanted a 2x4 about 12 to 16 inches long with rough side cowhide on one side or pig hide, whichever one, and smooth side on the other. So I'm gonna start trying to venture out and maybe make my own, but I want to see what he can come up with. Besides that, Dad always likes to do nice stuff for me. He's a pretty good dude. He just loses a bunch of knives. Let's see if that, I ain't feeling it anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and strop this other side too. But look, it feels like that bird's gone already. I had hit it with that 1500 grit. A few more times. I did about 2 rounds on each side, more than I did the other ones. I just really wished I had a bigger strop. And I know you can buy them pretty cheap, but I also want to see if it can be made personally at home. And I think that he's got the skills to do it. And if he's got the skills to do it, I know I got the skills to do it. And I might start doing that myself, buying my own leather. Got plenty of scrap 2x4s about that size, 2x6s, 1x if that works, and we'll see what that can do. And hide's actually not that hard to get, especially scrap, and it's cheap right now. Things are about to get very expensive, so ain't no telling if that will stay cheap. Oh yeah, that's feeling pretty good. So, y'all saw the wacky technique I was using earlier. Another thing, you can kind of see the graphite right there. I was sharpening up a graphite pencil. That's another thing I did with the knife. Let's get the old whittling hair arm out. Get my notch band back underneath the loop. So the old whittling arm, huh? Oh yeah, hair popping sharp already. Let me see if I can get some of that on camera. Oh yeah, I know I can get this on camera. That was a whole bunch of it, just straight nastiness. Put it off on the floor. We'll sweep that up later. So you can see the bevel. Maybe. That bevel's about straight. I would say it's pretty straight. I don't know how well this can focus. Just trust me when I say that bevel's straight. And this knife was asking for 20 degrees, if not more. I could probably take that down to 17, but I'm just going to stick with the 20 with all my knives. This Civivi Relic, I think this knife's probably going to go into my collection for a good while until I find a good friend or a family member that doesn't have a good nice pocket knife, and I'll end up probably giving it to them. Or take it apart, clean it up real good, and I can do it as a giveaway intermediate in between 250 and 500, because 250 and 500 is quite a ways away. I got something coming in from another good friend of ours, good friend of the channel, and we'll be talking about him here shortly in another video or two. And we'll be saying nothing but good things about that man, because he's a good man. He helps out me, he helps out Salty, and he helps out Shield Arms quite a bit. And he's a good dude to talk to. Never had a problem with him, but we'll get to that when we'll get there. So we'll have some intermediate giveaways in between 250 and 500. This might be one, it might not be one. I like it quite a bit. I like the materials, I like the steel. It's been a while since I've had a Nitro V blade. It's probably going to stick around for a little while, but it'll eventually go somewhere. Well, that's it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tell my bad what you'd like to see. Y'all have a good one.